So yesterday I mentioned that, I don't want to milk the Illuminati topic to extremity, right? But everybody was telling us, they're like, no, keep covering. And in fact, look into this situation with Blair's ex-boyfriend, because what he has to tell is quite a lot. And now, this video is going to be a long one, guys. This is going to be a juicy one today. It's going to be full of a lot of information. I mean, I don't even know how to summarize what we're about to get into because it's just so much. I mean, we've got confirmation of Blair's behavior, but also something really dark and sinister. Like, this video will get a little bit dark. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I mean, we basically have confirmation at this point, assuming that everything he's saying is true, of course, that Blair actually weaponizes suicidal people's worst moments against them and has a history of doing this, right?
Yeah.
So you wonder, why would Blair confidently post Wonderstruck's, private information that he was gonna kill himself, his suicide letter, post all this sensitive information about Wonderstruck? Like, why would she do this? Well, maybe perhaps if you take a look at Blair's ex-boyfriend and some of the stuff that he has to say, maybe this starts to make just a little bit more sense. Like I said, this could be a deep one. This could be a dark one. We did a lot of research on this story, and, the Illuminati stuff, it genuinely is not like we're just scraping the bottom of the barrel to cover this again.
No, this is deep.
This is
a deep one.
stuff. And, it's something that's really interesting about this entire drama. Okay, the guy, Azothan, who is Blair's ex-boyfriend, he has a Reddit channel that he just actually started uploading to again after 3 years of intimidation and silence because, well, Blair dominated the Reddit industry, and I guess he felt he couldn't really thrive considering that his abusive ex was controlling it all. But you want to know something crazy is that I actually had this guy on my show 4 years ago. Because you guys know, I've been doing YouTube now for like 6-7 years or something like that. 4 years ago, and I can't believe this escaped my memory, but 4 years ago, I had Blair's ex-boyfriend on because I used to cover Blair all the time. You guys think Blair only got into drama now? No. Blair's been getting into trouble for years now, and I've mentioned on some of these videos that I've had personal dealings with her, and everything that she's been exposed for recently lines up. And I wasn't kidding, although I did forget having this guy on. And if you look at the tweet that spurred my attention back in 2019, he's got quite a lot to say. Let's get into it.
Right.
So he tweeted back in 2019, and I covered this, when Illuminati told me that as a stripper, she took clients into the champagne room and would threaten them with violence, lie to the bouncers about being molested, and have them beat the person up if they didn't give her more money, should have been the last red flag. Now, many people that have been previous friends of Blair will confirm, and I mean, she was a stripper. I mean, she would talk about this openly. She would talk about it all the time. She even bragged that she had previously done work in the porn industry.
Right. This was something that she told a lot of her close friends, but as soon as back in 2019, anyone publicly brought it up, she got really, really kind of ass mad about it. She didn't like people publicly talking about it. But
no, she would talk about it a lot, but as soon as she started getting more notoriety and attention as a Reddit channel, as a family-friendly channel, suddenly she wanted to hide her past. But, she never even talked about this violence or this other stuff that was happening. I mean, this is a little bit crazy.
Blackmailing clients to force them to give you money under the threat of sexual harassment charges and getting assaulted. I mean, that's insane.
That's some stuff we haven't heard before. Well, I mean, I guess we did hear about it. And, this is now coming up because of recent videos, but it goes on. Let's continue. This is what he tweeted at me 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It took me months of therapy to get over what she did to me. I always wondered if I deserved the backstabbing and abuse, but now seeing how she is treating others currently, I realized this had nothing to do with me and everything to do with who she is. Sorry you all seem to have gotten on her bad side. Then he tags Diorio, he tags Tipster, he tags Tommy C, as well as me 4 years ago. And again, he thought this was his moment to expose everything because suddenly the commentary community had turned on Blair, but it literally was just us. Like, I made videos on Blair 4 years ago and I got dislike bombed. The comments were all telling me that I was a piece of shit, that I was faking evidence. And none of this was like real.
1,200 dislikes to 600 likes or something. Like, everyone was just like,
I remember it back in the day because I was like, what the fuck? I'm right.
Yeah, and you were definitely 100% right about Blair. So yeah, I mean, this is just horrifying what this guy went through. This isn't even the beginning of it.
We're just getting started. Sit down. This might be a longer video than we usually do, but it's very important information and it needs to come out, okay? It needs to come out there. And again, this guy is only felt safe coming out now You know, if you look at my comment section from maybe back in the day, you can see why he was so hesitant. This is when I had him call into my show, and this is what he had to say.
Oh yeah, if she was done with a client, her and her best friend would engage in this together because they felt like they could pressure the client if there were two of them, so they would both go back to the back room with them. And if they no longer needed this guy's business or they just didn't like him or thought he was a creep, they would go ahead and threaten them, essentially with violence, to squeeze them for what they were worth.
Interesting. Now, how are you so certain about this story?
Oh, well, I mean, we had multiple conversations about her past activities. We dated on and off for about 3 years. So I know pretty much everything there is to know. At least I hope.
So, you know, in the course of this interview, and you can go back and find the stream if you want to listen to it, he never provides proof for this. And I get it. This is an outlandish claim. And I mean, even now, I don't know if necessarily everything he's saying in this tweet is true. But like I said before, we've got a billion screenshots to investigate that have all come out, even back then, but also recently. And it's going to paint a very, you know, devastating picture of the type of person Blair is. So just take this story with the grain of salt. This isn't the shock, you know, this isn't the smoking gun that we have. The violence and the lying about being molested stuff, that's still yet to be proven.
Yeah.
But the other stuff that we have is absolutely like concrete. Like you can't deny this. So one of the things that Blair did to this guy was, you know, they eventually broke up, and, you know, she started making threats of legal action against him over false claims that he was going to dox her when he specifically told her he was never going to do that. So he tweeted back in April 16th, 2019, after they had already broken up, "To keep public track of events, Illuminati just called my home phone to threaten me. This is after fabricating felony claims. I am done remaining silent. Hashtag Illuminati." And so he continues to show DMs of Illuminati talking with her Discord mods, kind of similar to how she does today, where she hides behind her mods and sort of commands them and feeds them propaganda against her enemies, right? Yeah. She was doing that back in the day.
She did it with Click, you know, trying to dig up all the evidence on the Click.
Yeah.
She's been doing this for years. It's been a constant cycle for her.
Complete psycho cycle. Yeah. This is what she had to say. "It will, and what Azo has done is a category D felony, and it's a criminal case, not a civil one. So best of luck to him, and I'm sorry you're in the middle of it." She continues, "I can't speak on it. Like I said, not until my lawyer issues appropriate public summons."
So you might be wondering, well, what did he do here? I mean, this sounds pretty horrifying.
What has he done to
her?
her?
He tried to dox her. He tried to, he threatened her. This is pretty bad. Well, here's the text, right? This is how they communicated.
So Azo says, "You're blocked on my phone. I request that you do never again attempt to contact me." She then says, "If you dox my person, I go there will be a lawsuit."
Nice grammar. She's like raging behind the phone. She can't even type.
She can't even type.
Fuming, just red.
And then he says, "I would never dream of revealing your address. I have never, nor would I ever reveal information that could be harmful to your person. You know that. I make no promises about other information or your past activities. Be safe and happy." So he's like, look, I'm perfectly willing to discuss some of the stuff that you've done, but personal, like revealing information like your address, hell no. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, that's
What are you talking about? And while they're talking about this shit, she's like subtweeting him on the timeline. Again, very reminiscent to how she treated the Click.
Yeah.
She's saying, "And right when I get rid of the lawyer, it's time to rehire."
You know what's so funny about this? Like, before she's been getting exposed about all this stuff, she likes to subtweet. She likes to make these public tweets to make them be scared and intimidated. But as of right now, with these recent stuff, she's been dead fucking silent. She said nothing at all.
Absolutely nothing.
Completely quiet, except her one AI-generated response.
Oh,
but
no.
beyond that, she said literally nothing publicly. She's hoping to sweep this under the rug. When she feels like she's confident in the win, she'll just tweet and tweet and tweet and just say all this gay, insane shit. Like, this right here is also pretty fucking insane.
Yeah, "I'm happy I spent money on an attorney and ultimately did not use him. I would have rather never been in this situation in the first place. Better safe than sorry, I suppose." Somebody says, "I thought you do Reddit videos. What is this?" And she says, "Shh, I had to handle business." Now, there's a lot of vague stuff here, and what we're about to reveal, you know, ladies and gentlemen, is about to blow your minds. Because here's the thing. She says she had to handle business. What could that possibly be referring to? Here, she's tagging her ex and says, "Hey, you want to bitch and make up lies about me? Do your thing. That's your prerogative to be a shitty ex. Do not try me publicly on old drama because you want to ride people's coattails to get that sweet, sweet Reddit cash you so desperately crave. Fuck off and stay in your lane and knock it off with the lies, or I will make it a real issue." Now, what could that possibly be leading up to? Well, ladies and gentlemen, Let me introduce you to Cracker Snatcher.
With the premium Cracker profile picture on Discord.
Cracker Snatcher is a Discord doxer who was attempting to dox her ex. He was in these DMs from all the way back in January when they were dating. Was trying to figure out where this guy lives, thinking, oh, he lives in Nevada, his family lives in California, blah, blah, blah. Well, Illuminati decided 3 months later when she was at odds with her ex to engage in conversation with the doxer and speak to him privately. Now, specifically privately, so that nobody could figure out what she was really up to. This is somebody that he had specifically warned her about. And the only reason she knew who this person was because he had been like, oh my God, this crazy person's trying to go after me. Then when they split up their relationship, now she's contacting him specifically to work with him to shut this guy up.
Yeah, and show that first screenshot too. I skimmed over this the first time. If you go back there, 2 more. In this screenshot, he says, I can kick him from life. Feels good. So he's sending a death threat saying that he's going to take his life. And then mentioning where he lives. I didn't even notice it the first time. And
this is something that Azo sent to Blair while they were dating, showing like, oh my God, this crazy person's after me, right? But then 3 months later, so let's see how their conversation goes, right?
Yeah.
So he starts off schizo posting. They want boys to be gay. They want girls to reject men. They send men to war, to prison. They want you to party all day and do drugs so that your family dies. Just because you can be gay doesn't mean you have to be. So he's going on this like schizo rant about how they want all men to be gay and, you know, that's crazy and stuff like that, right? Something that Illuminati would, of course, consider today to be fascist speak, right? You know, someone who's like, oh, a crazy right-wing conspiracy theorist. Just no context at all, just spamming this. Then he tags her and says, what do you want?
So somehow she had added him or messaged him to give him the impression that Illuminati wants to contact him.
Yeah.
And then she says, I want to have a chat.
About? I got 7 minutes before I go back to work.
DM or no? It's kind of long, so let me know when you have some time.
Whatever it is, I'm sure the public can handle it. It's time to tell the truth.
What? I would rather it be private.
I got nothing to hide. We can't save the world if we are hiding. So not only is she interacting with a schizo doxer to intimidate her ex into silence, but this guy's also crazy, dude.
He's crazy.
He's absolutely nuts.
And this is what led to that tweet where she was laughing about she had to handle business, where she's talking about, you know, make sure to keep them nice and quiet. I didn't have to actually use an attorney because all I had to do was hit up this crazy cracker guy who threatened my ex and he got quiet and stopped talking.
Yeah. But it goes on. Listen to Blair communicate with her ex on a leaked call. This is how they speak and communicate to each other. Listen.
Look, Blair, I'm just saying that I messaged you one time, okay? Just to clarify that I didn't want a bunch of fucking discussion. All I wanted was a yes or no question answered. That was it. And I feel like I spread out my requests really well. And then like one message after that, you go and you start posting shit on Twitter, and it just didn't make sense to me.
Where did I say anything?
I don't know why you did that.
After the breakup. Huh? Where did I say anything? The first time I've said something is today.
On Twitter, Blair.
I've said nothing. I have seen your fucking Twitter and the bullshit you've been spewing on there. So if you want to fucking try me, Josh, okay?
So she's mad that he's posted something on Twitter. Would you guys like to see the context of what she is speaking about? And I'm not even joking. This is the tweet. I know you're trying to hurt me, but you can't make me forget that I loved you. And I won't respond to abuse with anger. I still wish you the best. Then he links a song, if they don't love you back, or a video, if they don't love you back, watch this.
Wow, so he's like somewhat half simping for her while also like calling her out.
This is what she was afraid of or threatened by?
This little pussy. I'm sorry, this is a pussy tweet. I mean, let's just be honest.
Yeah, I mean.
That's what she's really scared of. She's so fucking mad and angry about this that she's yelling and screaming. And it gets worse. She's about to yell even more.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm confused because you came to me on Discord about the Liam thing. I immediately got you an answer, and then I asked you a simple yes or no question. Were you talking ill of me to other content creators? I even said I didn't think you were. It was just...
The answer is no.
I don't understand
but now
why you dodged it.
Now it might change to a yes because now I'm going to have to protect my ass.
Wow. Okay, so that's a convenient response.
Because you want to fucking come at me sideways.
And, you know, I do just want to say that it is fucking kind of funny that you accused me of wanting to do it for money and that I didn't really like the content. And then here you are saying that you're bored and trapped by the content you make.
It's about the boredom, you fucking asshat.
Look, Blair, I'm not saying
She
that I
sounds
was
like
angry.
insane.
She really sounds like a demon in this call. I mean,
Yeah.
genuinely, right?
Yeah, we're talking about the devil's advocate, and he sounds less like a fucking demon than this one.
Well, this guy, like, look, let's be honest. He's a softer guy. You know, he's an emotional guy or whatever. I mean, he basically talks about that a lot if you actually watch his videos in regards to this situation, right? And it's like she knows that she can, like, manipulate him and stuff like this, right? I mean, it's obviously a toxic relationship. The stuff that you're going to find out that she was willing to do to this guy, if true, I mean, you don't need any more evidence that she belongs in an insane asylum. You know, she's like a threat to decent society.
I mean,
you know?
this call should
I'm not joking.
This call should be being had like behind a glass wall while she's in a straitjacket. That would make this context a little more reasonable.
Yeah.
But, you know, she's actually free and out. I don't really know if I like that.
And keep watching, guys, because it's about to get even worse.
About the breakup, okay? I'm not. I think that it was good for both of us. What I'm saying is that I was angry about the fact that you were the one who proposed a collaboration, and then as soon as I was ready and put all this effort into it, you just kind of shut me down. And in one night, you just went through so many insecurities and told me streaming wasn't going to work, and then in the same night also shut down the collaboration, which was something that was supposed to help us both. It just seemed...
So it had nothing to do with the fact that I go, oh, I'm moving, I'm busy, I'm doing shit in it every single day. The only thing you had to ask me is, when are we collabing? When are we collabing? When are we collabing? And it's like, oh, you're...
By the way, he went through his DMs or whatever, and we looked at it. It was not like that. I might just show them scrolling on stream or whatever, because he did show them.
Yeah.
And, you know, he mentions, like, the video, but it's not like he was obsessive about it like she paints.
No, I mean, he asked maybe even a couple times. I mean, she made a promise to him that they would make a collab video together to help boost his little channel, like this one right here.
Yeah, she had an active interest in getting this guy launched off or at least she claimed to him, right? But then when time came down to put the work down, she wasn't ready.
Typical.
The only thing you had to ask me is, when are we collabing? When are we collabing? When are we collabing? And it's like, oh, you're treating me like a fan, Blair. I'm like, well, perhaps, Josh, you should have stopped acting like one.
Wow. So she's just treating him like a total cunt.
Yeah.
Completely. And it goes odd, you know, how would she react to this call being released? Obviously negatively, but this is what she had to say specifically. I'm very pissed off that she recorded that phone call without me knowing. I better not hear it anywhere ever. Oops. Then he responds, one-party consent laws, I did my research, it will absolutely be included, be well. She says, don't spin it. You wanted to make the channel for money. You were pissed I wouldn't collab with you to get your cash grab. Don't blame your failures on me. Your guilt trip isn't going to work here. By the way, there's a DM that I'll flash on screen of her advising him how to work on his channel. Oh, we need to get you up off the ground. We need to get you boosted or whatever. Because this guy had no money. He had no income. Whereas Blair, she was blowing up at the time, getting all this money. He admits that she had all the money in the relationship, right? But in her messages with him, she was talking about, well, let's get you off the ground. Let's get you a successful channel. But now suddenly she's acting like, oh, you were using me to grow on YouTube when it was her idea in the first place.
Yeah.
For him to make a channel and for him to do Reddit content. She was sending him specific subreddits to cover that were the most profitable, right? So he responds and says, I never attacked you over that. It's sad you need to view it that way. I have an amazing job now and I get to do this channel for fun. She says, recording? Why don't you slide that over my way if you did such a thing? But I'm doubtful. He says, I'm afraid I can't offer you my files. I stated it during the recording. You said goodbye multiple times. Please stick to it. This back and forth thing we've been doing for years is unhealthy for both of us. We need to complete the severing. I wish you will. So obviously, yeah, the relationship is completely toxic and cancerous, but you know, it reveals so much about her behavior. You know, she'll lie and she'll twist things and she'll threaten and she'll work with doxers to intimidate this guy and harass this guy. And she doesn't like being recorded because, you know, it paints a bad image. And again, this is not stuff that came out recently. This was released on April 23rd, 2019.
Yeah.
Even somebody that covered Blair, albeit I covered Blair months after this video came out. But had I known this video was out, I would have gone way more to town than I did, right? Like, this is some crazy stuff.
Yeah, no, this has been out for years. He also dropped this like a week after everything happened, because this is April 23rd. A lot of those pictures we were looking at were like April 7th, April 8th. He just dropped this like instantly. Yeah, April 16th on this one. So he was on the ball like right away. He was like, here's everything, by the way.
Here's everything.
all the DM leaks. But I'm glad it's coming to light now. And it came to light especially a lot more with this recent video made by Swoop.
Yeah, Swoop's video came out, and, you know, we're going to have a link to it in the description. It's 2.5 hours long, but part of the video features an email interview with the ex. You now hear his 2023 views on Illuminaughti, and it's a lot has been revealed so far, and it kind of goes to show just how vindictive and crazy she really is. One of the things that she covered back in the day was this channel Misery Box. Now, I tried to look up this channel. They're completely gone from the internet, but Misery Box was a fellow Reddit channel, and according to Azo, the X, this is what he had to say to Swoop. I forgot the specific drama, but Misery Box was another big Reddit YouTuber whom Blair had disliked because he was having comparable growth while putting out content she said was shitty and derivative. Now, there's screenshots of Blair celebrating when she passed another Reddit channel and saying that she was gonna bury these fuckers and stuff. Yeah. And again, when Blair was going after r/ and falsely claimed that r/ had her swatted, which we all covered back in the day because, I mean, Blair was like an ally to everyone's channel. She was saying that they were getting her swatted and stuff. Seemed like a pretty big accusation to make. It was all bullshit. It was all part of Blair's nonstop slandering campaign she would run against other YouTubers to try and stomp out her competition. Very vindictive and very evil. So Azo goes on to say, I believe he was caught being a drunken douche canoe and was ostracized from the Reddit community. Tragically, she then threatened and harassed some of his former mods when they couldn't give her everything she wanted from the situation. I have the screenshots and receipts. I'm unfamiliar with if they ever made up or not. So basically what happened was, Mystery Box was another Reddit YouTuber. Blair decided to expose them. She got sent a call of them being a drunk asshat, basically, where he was just being an asshole while drunk.
Right.
This was sent to her by Misery Box's former mods. It always goes back to the Discord mods.
They all turned against him.
But she wouldn't give credit to the mods. Yeah. And when she wouldn't give credit to the mods, this is what happened, right? So Swoop asks, like, what do you mean by that last sentence? And Azo says, when I say not give her everything she wanted, basically, she didn't want to credit the mods who got the audio of him being a drunk idiot and spread it originally. And when one mod got angry, she threatened to paint the entire mod team as being the same as Misery Box. So here are the screenshots, right, of Blair arguing with one of the top mods of Misery Box's channel saying, listen here, I'm done. You want to upload the raw audio? Go for it. I'm done this combo. And if anything, people are asking for a part 2 and showcasing the staff of who Misery entrusted might be interesting. We are done here.
So she's threatening to make a part 2 on the Misery Box series of like, well, here's Misery Box and here's why Misery Box's mods are all the same and they're all gay, just like him.
But then the mods BTFO her and destroy her logic. They're like, yeah, because trying to accuse the staff that rebelled against him in the first place and exposed him of siding with them is perfect logic. Destroying her. I mean, just completely flat out just decimating her. This is what Azo had to say in addition to what he said before. I hadn't read these in years, but it looks like a case of Blair not crediting her sources, threatening to paint the entire mod group based on the actions of one who was mad about it. A lot of vague threats and, oh, wouldn't it be a shame if I made a video making you look as bad as Misery Box? Standard bully stuff. Some pics may be out of order, but here's the timestamps. Then he provides a bunch of screenshots. Again, if you want to take a look at the full story, you can check out Swoop's video, but this is an example of her, I mean, just vindictive, refusing to credit, looking like a idiot, you know, screaming and raging at people.
A cry bully. I mean, she's the definition of a cry bully.
Yeah, exactly.
She's disgusting, shameful in every single way possible. So, and it's still not even close to the end yet.
We're not even there yet.
So
Azothan revealed even more to Swoop in her video. He says, when Blair and I first began interacting romantically, I had recently left my home of 27 years and moved to a whole strange place in addition to a breakup. He then goes on to describe how he was very depressed, even suicidal. You know, he had just gone through a breakup. He had no money, no source of income. She was basically carrying him in life. But it goes on. Get a load of this. Apparently Blair, this is from Azothan, tell me she had hacked my ex's Tumblr account and found evidence she cheated on me. I was having a hard time moving on emotionally.
So he was like coping about his ex, I guess, to her, and she decided to take it into her own hands, find her ex's Tumblr, hack into it, I'm guessing look at her DMs, and then show that to Azo saying, look, here she is like texting other dudes, like you're BTFO'd.
Now, I struggled to believe that Blair is competent enough to hack into this guy's ex's Tumblr account and actually pull this up, because that's really fucking crazy if true. I think, and this is my personal theory, but I think she just manufactured DMs to try to create this sort of situation where now Azo basically has to submit to her. Oh, I'm better. Look at how your ex treated you. I'm like perfect or stuff.
I found this for you, and
you
I'm
should
gonna be
submit
the
to
good one.
me.
Yeah,
I think that's what's going on here, because if you look at what else happens, it's pretty crazy. This is what Blair also did. Blair took Azothan to Vegas to confess her love to him, but had a backup plane ticket to send him home that night if he didn't reciprocate.
So she basically kind of forced him against his will to say that he was in love with her.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was like, oh, you're going home.
Nope.
If you're not ready to say that yet, like if you're just playing the field and like feeling out the relationship, maybe you're not ready to confess love to each other, too bad. You're gone. It's only at Blair's whenever Blair's ready. That's it. No one else can have any sort of say or feeling in a relationship or anything. I mean, that's very, very true to how Blair operates.
Then in their relationship, because they were on and off or whatever, she made a tell-all breakup video about him back in 2017 during one of their mini breakups,
I'd
right?
love to see that. That's forever ago, though.
Yeah, we should obviously see that. By the way, if Azothan is watching this video, please hit us back up. Let's talk. I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff here.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Azothan's email to Swoop. He says, she demanded I spend my time exclusively playing Dark Souls 3 with her, right? In all of his free time. Any attempt to go out to parties or karaoke or just make any social and emotional ties other than to her were met with punishment. Punishment. Now, what could that punishment possibly be? Well, the punishments varied from verbal abuse to a couple days of no contact to several weeks. When she did return from one of our breaks, it was with cruelly lurid stories about fuckboys on Snapchat and all the fun she had going out. So she would tell us stories of how she was fucking Chad and Steven from across the street, getting
Tyrone,
Tyrone,
fucking every single person,
getting
in the
fucking
street.
plowed, and she would traumatize him with these stories.
Because he went to karaoke night
Yeah, why?
and didn't play Dark Souls 2.
Because
that
he was
the response.
hanging out with his family or friends instead of her. So she would treat him, and by the way, Azothan should have absolutely broken up with her at this point. I mean, it really is on you if you're gonna get cucked like this to stay with her. I'm not saying otherwise, but I mean, she's being abusive here. Both can be true. You know, he can be at fault for not removing himself from the situation sooner than he should have, but she can also be abusive. Like, two can simultaneously be true here. And this is absolutely fucking abusive. I'm sorry, but this is crazy, dude.
Yeah.
And it continues. Here's talking about the phone recording we listened to earlier. The phone recording. Yes. Well, about a week beforehand, Blair and I had a phone call where she told me that I was beneath her, that I was always going to be mediocre, and that she was better than that. I called her out publicly on Miserybox's Discord and her statements. Now, why would this be significant, right? Oh, she said that he was mediocre and that she was better.
Sounds like typical Blair. I mean, just shitting on someone for no reason, right?
Well, it actually gets a little bit deeper and darker. One tiny clarification about her calling me mediocre and a burden. Those words were the exact ones I used 5 months before I attempted to end my life. So this guy had previously expressed suicidal remarks, and he had used the words specifically like, I feel mediocre, I feel like a piece of shit.
I want to kill myself.
Blair immediately weaponizes his weaknesses against him to try and get him to kill himself again.
Just fucking disgusting. I
Like,
mean, how can you
actually,
not feel
though.
ashamed of this? You know, this is the type of woman who brings up her mom's cancer against people. This is the type of woman who brings up other people's suicidal ideations. I mean, this person is genuinely mentally fucking deranged. They need to be put in a insane asylum. There's no other option here. They have no understanding of anyone's possible feelings around them, but yet they claim to be like, you know, understanding and loving. This whole thing on Wonder was trying to talk about their suicide.
Yeah.
This whole thing on Oz was talking about their suicide. Like, what the fuck?
Again, you listen to this woman speak, and we're not going to play all of it, but you look back at the Wonder mental health segment where she just, for no reason at all, leaked Wonder's mental health. Of course, you remember us going like, why would she do this? What is her point here? Why is she bringing this up? Well, the reason she was bringing this up was probably to get the guy to fucking kill himself, if this is all true. And I'm not even joking. Like, it sounds like I'm being like aggressive, or I'm saying this for shock or something like that. I mean,
yeah, based on this testimony, that is not even that crazy of an assessment to come to.
Yeah.
Because she obviously said that to her ex Azo in order to make him feel suicidal, to remind him of that situation. That's why she brought it up, was to remind him, hey, by the way, you were suicidal and you felt like shit. Do you remember that? Now she did the same thing to Wonder here. Hey, by the way, do you remember when you were suicidal and you felt like total shit and you want to kill yourself?
Yep.
Here's to the whole world. Now the whole world knows about it.
Yep, here you
so,
go.
Disgusting.
But while she does it, she pretends that she cares about the person's mental health, which is, again, why I was confused initially why she brought this up. It's like, okay, well, if you care about this person's mental health, why would you expose it? Why would you leak it for all of the internet to see at the heat of your controversy? You think leaking his shit is going to get you out of this? That doesn't make any sense. Well, now it was a veiled intimidation tactic, to put it in the nicest way possible. I mean, holy fuck, dude. And this is Azo going into more detail about it. He says, I'm okay with this being shared. I'm not mediocre or a burden. I have a wonderful and rich life now, and she has no power or influence over it. I want Wonder to know it was just what she does to vulnerable people. So he's going along with our speculation here.
yeah.
I don't know if she'd hope I hurt myself, but she certainly picked her words with care and knew how they could fester. I give my permission happily for this story to be shared. He then says, it's relieving to hear someone say that about speaking up, but I don't want to paint myself as a victim in the same way that it's Claire, Wonder, and Oz and Click were. I was luckily cut out of the housing arrangement in February of 2019, so I never had to live in or work with those more worrying behaviors and habits.
No.
And he basically goes on to say that, look, like, I appreciate you reaching out. This feels like a massive weight has been lifted off my shoulders after 4 years of being able to speak with to nobody about it.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I mean, he says he's not as much of a victim as them. I think he's just as much. I mean, these people are all victims of Blair, just in their own different ways. I mean, you know, he's taking kind of the high road. He's saying, like, look, I'm out of it. I'm great. That's good. I'm glad he is. But that doesn't change how disgusting Blair's behavior was here, and that it's almost identical to how she acts still today, 4 years later, 4 entire years later. Not changed at all, still acting the same, treating people maybe even worse than she did before. It's shocking, really. It's genuinely shocking.
Yeah, no, this is actually some like next level stuff. I mean, look, we've looked into the Illuminati stuff. Most of it has been petty YouTube drama, with the exception of just random things or things that we thought were random, like the winter mental health segment, which is like, whoa, what the fuck is this? Now, the context is much darker, but it makes a lot more sense. And so Illuminati, well, every day she's got something new to address. This one really takes the cake.